Our story begins in the mighty kingdom of Babylon, where a powerful king named Nebuchadnezzar ruled. This king, known for his strength and his vast empire, decided one day to build an enormous golden statue. It stood high and tall, glistening under the sun, a monument to his greatness. It was a statue of himself, a sign of his power and authority. One day, King Nebuchadnezzar gathered all the important leaders of his kingdom, princes, governors, and advisors, to announce an important decree. His command was clear: when you hear the sound of the music, all of you must bow down and worship the golden statue. If you do not, you will be thrown into a fiery furnace where you will burn alive. Soon after, a great orchestra was assembled, and as the music played, the people were expected to bow down. The crowd below the statue all kneeled in unison, except for three young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These three were friends and leaders from a far-off land, brought to Babylon as captives. They were wise, noble, and faithful to their God. Though they were in a foreign land, they knew one thing: they would not bow down to any idol. The God they worshipped was the only true God, and they would never place anything or anyone above him. As soon as the music stopped, some of the king's advisors noticed that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were still standing. They quickly reported it to the king, saying, "Your Majesty, these men are disobeying your command. They refuse to bow to your statue." King Nebuchadnezzar was furious. He called for the three men to be brought before him. With anger in his eyes, he said, "Is it true that you refuse to worship my statue? You have one last chance. When the music plays again, you better bow, or you will be thrown into the fiery furnace. And who is the God who will save you from my power?" But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego remained calm and unafraid. They replied with courage, saying, "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. Our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the fiery furnace. But even if he does not, we want you to know that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image you have set up." Their response left the king speechless. It was a bold statement of faith, trusting in God no matter what. King Nebuchadnezzar was not pleased. His face turned red with fury. He ordered that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter than usual. The soldiers who took Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to the furnace were so overwhelmed by the heat that they perished on the spot. The 3 men were thrown into the flames, bound and helpless. But something incredible happened. As the furnace roared with heat, King Nebuchadnezzar looked into the flames, expecting to see nothing but ashes. But to his astonishment, he saw not 3, but 4 figures walking around in the fire, unhurt and unharmed. The 4th figure looked like a god. Nebuchadnezzar, shocked and amazed, rushed to the furnace and called out, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out." And so they did. When the 3 men emerged from the furnace, they were completely unharmed. No burns, no smell of smoke on their clothes. It was as if they had never even been in the fire. King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished. He praised the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, saying, "There is no other God who can save like this." He issued a new decree declaring that no one in the kingdom should speak against the God of these men, for their faith had shown the power and greatness of God. He promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to even higher positions in his kingdom, and they continued to live as faithful servants to their God. And so the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego teaches us an important lesson. It's easy to follow the crowd, but real courage comes when we stand up for what we believe in, even when it's hard. These 3 men trusted in God even when faced with a fiery death, and because of their faith, they were saved in a miraculous way. So remember, no matter what you're going through, trust in what you believe and know that you're never alone. God is always with you, even in the toughest of times, and that is the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. A tale of faith, courage, and the power of trusting in God.